that conditioning takes place after birth. You can change it. It takes guts. It takes goals.
So one of the things that I've always found very interesting is that different leaders, different mentors will talk about the importance of reading one book 100 times versus reading 100 books one time. And so I've always, I've always been pulled in two directions about that idea. And so I guess what I've come to is there's a time for everything. Sometimes you want to read the same book over and over and over and over. Sometimes you just want to glance through it and you want to get what you can get out of it quickly and easily and then move on. And each time I've done either or. If I've read a book 2 or 3 times, or if I've only read it once, I always get something different out of both it and the connections that I make with other books and seminars and videos and etc. What has been your experience?
I must say, I'm on the same frequency when it comes to that. My thing is that I read multiple books at the same time, generally, which is not easy. And with you, I have learned consistency, discipline, because we had to read for each week. We had our chapter, then we had to discuss it. So yes, I've read sometimes just one book. Also, like you said, when you reread the same book, it's like you're rediscovering it. And also because then you understand that your understanding is just changing and you have your experiences and you read other things, just like you said, and you're just upgrading. And so you're able to see much more in the book than you used to see. So this is what I noticed.
Yeah.
And this is also why I cannot really sometimes choose, because we're going to talk about our 5 top mentors. It was so difficult for me to choose. And just like I told you before, I'm still like, okay, who am I going to choose? I've got my top 3, but though I'm still wondering. So back to what we were saying, sorry.
And it's been the same for me all this week. When you first said, and we discussed it, Neil, let's talk about our top 5 mentors. I thought, oh, that'll be simple. But then I realized, well, is it my top 5 mentors during my 20s? Is it my top 5 mentors during my 30s? Is it my top 5 mentors last week? Is it my top 5 mentors last year? Because it really has, it's changed. Because there was a time when I was listening to Darren Hardy every single day, every morning, didn't miss a single episode. And that went on for 2-3 years even. Now I don't listen to him hardly at all. Peggy McColl used to put out a video every day, and I would listen to it every day. Now I listen to one every 2 weeks or so. But I think at different times in our lives, we need different mentors.
It's funny you would say that, because just a few days ago, I came across an audiobook that I couldn't stop listening to it. I mean, for the past 2 years, and it had been taken away from YouTube, and then I found it again, and I started listening to it again. And now I have a buzzing again. Sorry, maybe connection. And you know what? It doesn't vibe the same way it used to vibe before. And of course, I could connect again with some of the things I had connected with in the past. but it's not the same anymore. So I really agree with what you're saying. It's just, it depends on where you are, your emotional state, and your life experiences. And so, but I got to, I mean, range it down to 3 that I would go back to generally. And it really depends on my emotional state, on my mindset, on the mood of the day. And so I can't wait to share them with you. So do you want to start sharing, or how do we do it? You share your first one, I share my first one, and how do we do it?
Well, of course, in the US, we would say ladies first. So you get to take the stage first.
Thank you. I think in France would say that too. All right.
Oh, okay.
So let's go. And I guess this is no surprise to you, the first mentor, because for me, of course, it's Bob Proctor, because really it's, well, the mind expert that really opened up my mind, and that opened that road to awareness, consciousness, and, well, all that, you know. And what I really like about what he does is it really vibes with my intellectual, I say, functioning, because I'm a lot in the mental plane, intellectual plane. And this is also why I love to study. I love studying, and the way he teaches really is in sync with my functioning. And so this is what brought me to personal development, to understanding the power of the mind, and yes, to that discovery journey. So for me, number 1 is Bob Proctor.
Okay. So now, what's your history with Bob Proctor? Because how long had you listened to him before you decided to attend a live event?
Oh, not that long, I guess. Okay. I must have discovered him. Oh, or maybe my memory is just that. I think I discovered him in 2018 for sure. Started reading his books, Born Rich, I guess, like I said 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
Then I started watching the videos, and then I saw an ad for his seminars. And like I said, that sentence, when was the last time you did something for the first time? And this really gets stuck here. And that's when I jumped on a plane, blah, 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 went to LA and started that journey. And then, of course, I got coached by 2 of his consultants. And since then, I haven't stopped, because the secret is to never stop and keep studying over and over again. So yes, that journey has started, I guess, in 2018, and it's still going on, I must say.
Now, because you purchased one of his premium products, Thinking into Results, do you feel like it changed your life and really made a difference for you?
I guess definitely, because it really cleans the mind, because you've got, you know, you grow up in an environment, in a country, you speak a language, you have, you know, traditions, and depending your parents' education, and yes, the country where you live, there are rules, there are ways of living. And then you can take a step back, and then you can analyze, oh, why am I doing this? Why am I not doing this? Because I really would like to do that, but I'm not doing what I want to do. And so it made me aware of how I functioned. And it also, when you understand how you function yourself, you understand others, because actually we are all the same, and generally we function the same. And this is how, yes, it helped me get forward. And I mean, yes, I think now I'm independent. Before the program, I was working for an employer. I already was on a path of change, or I wanted to have a shift in my life. But really, this helped me, and it depends on the person and your past. But yes, it really helped me, and I'm still using it today for everything that I do for my teaching. When I teach languages, I use the material. I remember the subconscious mind, the conscious mind, because this is so important, and it's just pervading every sphere of our lives. Oh, it's freezing.
Yeah. Okay. So
Mhm.
for me, Bob Proctor was key. He was instrumental in basically setting me up for who I consider to be one of my most transformational teachers, because Bob would get on YouTube and put out all of these videos, and he would send out emails. And at one point, I became aware of Mind Valley. And Mind Valley, as you know, is a huge platform of hundreds of different teachers teaching on varying topics. And I could say, yeah, that's one of my favorites of all time is Mind Valley. But the lessons, the teacher that really hit me hardest the first time I ran into her is Christie Marie Sheldon. And she, you know, I don't even know if she's huge in other circles, but she was working on beliefs and energy and becoming a psychic and becoming empathic at a time when I really needed a different approach, because, you know, all of the success through a positive mental attitude, Think and Grow Rich, they all rely on your ability to think. And I believe that there is a level at which you have to get rid of some of those limiting beliefs before you can move forward. And so I needed a tool to help me move beyond my current limitations. And Christie Marie Sheldon, she really gave me that tool to be able to move forward. And it's a long program. It's 24 weeks of an hour and a half to 2 hours each. And I honestly have bought so many programs that I haven't made it all the way through, but this one, in just about a week and a half, or no, I had 30 days to try it out for free, and so I went through them all in that 30 days in order to decide if I even wanted it. And it was the secret ingredient. It was the heat under my pot. It gave me something that I could actually start to work with. And so I'm going to put her down as my primary mentor, someone that I model what I do after quite regularly.
All right. I guess you've brought her up during our sessions for sure, but is there a key concept or something maybe you've talked to me about already, or a key concept about what she did?
So one of the things that she does, and I can't remember if it's your Year of Miracles or Project or Access Consciousness, but it's uncreate, delete, and destory across all time, space, and reality. And Yeah, you remember
Now it
that.
rings a bell. I know
Yeah.
the method now. Mhm.
So, uh, she suggests you say two phrases. First of all, what would it take to have this, to be this, to do this, to get this? And you're supposed to do it in present tense. What would it take for me to have $100,000 or more right now? Everything in the way of that, uncreate, delete, and destory it across all time, space, and reality. And I use
Mhm.
that one quite regularly whenever I'm dreaming. And then also when I have a negative thought, like my children are evil and I don't have enough money, and you know, the problems that we typically have, it's okay. Everything that is uncreate, delete, and destore it across all time, space, and reality. Other teachers say cancel, cancel, but it's just a nice and easy way. In fact, I use that quite regularly when I'm driving down the road, because I will see a car that has had an accident. And for some reason, my consciousness keeps getting drawn to that. And so everything that is uncreate, delete, and distort it across all time, space, and reality. And I do that until I feel the energy move on.
And yes, exactly. You know, I use it because you taught me that, and I would say I mainly use it when I have those negative thoughts, or what Bob Proctor calls the mental activity. Because, like you said, you think, but you're not really thinking. And I know that mental activity, and I use it on the road too. It's when I drive, and I told about that period when I had only issues with my car, and I was like, okay, I don't want more issues. And then sometimes I would just project something really negative, like, okay, delete in all time, space, reality, just like you said.
Yep.
And now, yeah, so I didn't remember the name of your number one mentor, but I definitely use what she has been teaching. So thank you again. So yes, want to add something?
Number two.
Number two. So number two, and sometimes it's difficult not to put her or him in the, top one, because it's really daily help. It's Abraham Hicks, channeled by Esther Hicks. So people won't know what channeling is. I will let you dig into that. And what I really love about Abraham Hicks, it's about emotions, feeling. And whereas Bob Proctor really gets you into the mind and helps you put words on everything, Abraham Hicks is really about helping you with the feelings that come out, and that goes, the feeling that go with your mind, and both work together. And so just like this week, the jet lag, I've had issues with my heating system and things like that. You're like, okay, I just came back to France, and boom, everything is crashing down, and emotionally overwhelmed. And yes, and my body couldn't take it anymore. I had to stop. And then what I do generally, I go to Abraham Hicks. So, okay, this is happening. Abraham Hicks, do you have the solution? Or just listen to one or two videos, and I'm just like, okay, we're good. We're fine. Let's continue. So this is why I love Abraham Hicks, because it can help me daily in my daily life.
So what is it that you find so comforting? Is it her sense of humor? Is it just the positivity? What do you love about it so much?
What I love, it's because it's so she really goes to the point and sheds light where you cannot see. Because when you're into those feelings, really dense feelings, when you're sad, when you have anxiety, well, she doesn't really guilt you into it, and she just makes you realize it's okay. You're feeling this because of that, and it's all right. It's all right. There is nothing wrong, and you are where you need to be. And because as humans, we always think, oh, I should be here, I should already have done that, blah, 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 blah. And yeah, it's really to the point, I think, personally.
Okay. Yeah, I like her as well. She's a very, very good teacher. Well, my number 2 is your number 1. So Bob Proctor really, what he talked about in The Secret helped explain so much of W. Clement Stone and Napoleon Hill's the success through positive mental attitude and Think and Grow Rich. So much of it is mindset. And I really love the fact that he explained what the mindset is. He explained that there are laws that govern what we do and what we receive. And combined with all of the other teachers in that movie, which I have to give a shout out because my sister, so I'm number 7 of 8, my sister number 4, number 4 sent me that book, The Secret, and it just blew my mind open because I didn't realize that there was so much more to it, that so much more was possible. And Bob Proctor being a big one in it, of course, I was led to Bob Proctor. And so that's when I started listening to his videos and I got on his mailing list. But I could never quite bring myself to go to one of his events because, I have 8 children. And at that time, all of them were still at home, or at least 7 of them were. And so it just wasn't conceivable. But when he opened up his archives in 2020 as an act of what I consider kindness and brilliant marketing during the pandemic, I just ate it up. And he gave me so many ideas that I had never had before. Just how the mind works, how the mind is set up. He explained the conscious and the subconscious in a way that finally I could picture and that made sense to me. And so I absolutely have ever since loved him and everything that he's taught. So that's why I was so grateful to meet you so that we could read Born Rich and the self-image, because you had been through the self-image and you had actually sent me a video, and then I bought the program. And that it's been really interesting to listen, to watch, to read, and grow through all of that process. But Bob Proctor is a really big mentor to me.
And without him, it's true that I wouldn't be here and you wouldn't be here. I mean, on the internet, just connecting and becoming accountability partners, because that's part of what he teaches. I guess must have been in other programs too, because all you find here, someone else already said. It's just being repeated, but differently, just like you always say. It's just someone is more, tends to talk to you better than someone else, so.
Yep.
Great.
Yeah. How about you? Number 3.
Number 3. So number 3. Well, I'm gonna say this is the part where it gets a little bit difficult for me, because I have that French woman, and I'm not sure she's French. I think she lives in Canada or in Quebec. And so I'm just gonna go with her because currently, I'm just so eager to watch her videos. I can't wait for her next one, and she's done a podcast too. So her name is Arwen de la Réault. Yes, you must not know her because she's French, and so there is a problem here with her teachings being in French. Maybe I should translate them to you sometimes. And I guess I also connect with her way of explaining things, and she's really, well, sometimes people would criticize her because she's like a school teacher, and I actually adore that because I love when people explain things like quite with, I mean, just the way she does it. I don't know how to say that, but it's square, it's precise, it's just like I like it, you know.
Okay.
And yeah, so the way she describes the world, and she can also address the emotions. This is really brilliant because at the same time it's really intellectual, but it starts with the feeling you can experience. And the most progress I've made is with dealing with my emotions, because first, of course, a lot with the mind, but this is, I mean, to compensate the feelings that you don't want to feel. And this helped me accepting, acknowledging, oh, you've got those big emotions, trauma, wounds, etc., and saying it's okay. And so she helped me a lot. So it's Arwen de la Réault. Maybe I will put all the references under the video when it's out on YouTube, so we can share that with everyone.
Okay.
Voila.
Perfect. Well, that'll make life a lot easier because I don't think I can even spell her name.
Yes, I will put her name in the description. It's gonna be easier.
Okay. Well, so for me, number 3, one of the challenges that I had with Bob was he said, you need to have a goal. You need to have a C-type goal, a big goal. Darren Hardy called it a big, hairy, audacious goal. And I couldn't figure out what I wanted to do. So I'd seen this lady around, but during the pandemic, the virtual programs came out, and all of a sudden everybody wanted to start charging a lot less because, well, they don't have to travel, they don't have to set up. So I went to a lady by the name of Mary Morrissey, and she and Bob were friends. She actually led Bob's funeral. But for the first time, I was taught a way to actually get in touch with what it was I wanted, and I was taught to dream. And her program is Dream Builders Live, and it was fun because for 3 days I was immersed in this. What the heck do you want? What do you want? What would you love? What do you want? And it wasn't so broad that I couldn't grasp anything. She said, what do you want in health and wellness? What do you want in your relationships? What do you want in money? What do you want in your vocation? And she broke it down, and she gave me time to walk through and do it in such a way that I was able to really settle into myself and figure out what I actually wanted. And so I have gone back now to 3 times to her seminars just because she taught me so much about what my goal is and what I actually want. And the breakthrough that I had with her was simply earth-shattering, phenomenal, amazing. I loved it. So that's why she is my number 3.
All right. And I resonated strongly with what you were saying. And it's so difficult, actually, that question, what do you really want? Because it's so connected with who you are. And this just makes me think of Wayne Dyer, that he refused to participate in The Secret documentary because to him it was too much like, what you want you can attract, and to him you can only attract what you are. So the question of, yes, what you want, what you are I guess intertwined, and it's complex. And I didn't plan on citing Wayne Dyer, but he's definitely one of our mentors, and we talk a lot about him too. So just, well, here he is. Yes.
Well, and come to find out, Mary Morrissey, Wayne Dyer, and Les Brown were all taught by the same mentor.
Oh, okay, I didn't know that.
Religious leader who from somewhere up north, like Canada or Chicago or something like that. But Mary Morrissey and Wayne Dyer were best friends.
Oh, I didn't know that. And
Yeah.
you see,
Now I've got one other thing. The importance of accountability partners, because Mary Morrissey's Dream Builders Live is great, but I have another accountability partner that in California that I meet with every day. And we go through and we do the activity that Mary Morrissey calls Time Machine, but we go through and we do that every morning. We touch on our goal. We tap into that feeling of being in the future. And it is a phenomenal experience that I think if it weren't for my partner, I would not have been as in love with Mary Morrissey. But because I get to practice it every day, Mary's practices mean a lot more to me.
and there is no coincidence in that. But this is huge, you know, doing this every day, but this is a secret too. And because you're so hooked in it, I guess, that it becomes natural. And well, the mind is just, it's just formed of habits. So you have the habit of going into it over and over again.
That's it. And what you think about on a regular basis works its way down into the subconscious. And so even though it's only for a few minutes every day, I feel like I've already been congratulated for all of the successes that I want to achieve. It's so much fun to be congratulated as though you already done it. It's already here. It's yours.
Like Abraham Hicks says, it's the vortex, but
Yeah.
But we live on a plane where it's difficult. We think we only look at the present reality and we think, oh, it's not here, so it's not going to be here. Whereas, and this is where the work needs to happen. You have to live in the vision, live in the future. That's why if you don't have any vision, I read Spot Proctor in one of the videos, people without vision just perish because you need. And
that's actually in the Bible. Without the vision, the people perish.
See. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, number 4.
4. Yep.
Yes, gets difficult. Okay. I'm going to choose for number 4, Lorie Ladd, because, well, currently she has helped me a lot. Lorie Ladd, I guess she's more on Instagram, Facebook, now on YouTube, of course. I can't even say, I know she lives in the States, that's for sure. And she just really shares her daily feelings. She does a lot of live events. And she doesn't, well, I think you should watch her last video on When Will We Remember? And I really like the fact she compared our body to a car. And we think that something happens to our body. We think we're gonna die, but really we are the passenger here, you know, like the body, the car, and when it gets hit, we're not really being hit, you know, it's just like the character. The character we play when we're down here. Anyway, maybe it's too much into the details, But I really love the way she shares her feelings, her struggles, her challenges, and this also helps you to get the bigger picture, because sometimes we're so focused on in our little lives and we forget about the world that everyone is in. And so I love her authenticity, and she's really natural, and yeah, she just speaks to my heart, if I may say.
Excellent. Excellent. And so when you need comfort, is she one that you will turn to on a regular basis, or comfort or inspiration?
Well, I would say that it depends on where I am. And I've been following her for at least 3 years now. But really, it comes from, I would say, from time to time. Really, right now, she has just shown up again in my feed. And so I'm following her again. But I guess this is also the law of attraction. You know, you attract what you resonate with. So currently, I resonate a lot with her content, but I have been following her for many years. And I would advise anyone who is curious and feels attracted to her, well, check out her feed. And she has written a book, The Grand Design. I haven't read it, but though, check it out. It's just things like that. I think I've already talked to you about her, no?
I can't remember.
No?
So much of what we talk about, we just teach each other what we've learned. We don't necessarily need
The names.
all of the, yeah. Because I think that's one of the things that I really like about personal development. Bob said it so many times. None of this is mine. I'm just quoting it from people who are far wiser than me. And so, you know, that's pretty much what we do, because you use the tool. Because I guess what I'm thinking is, people give us tools. People are just giving us tools, and I've heard the same tool offered from 4 different people, but it's the 5th person who explains it in just a slightly different way, and then it makes sense. In fact, I think that's one of the podcasts that we need to do in the future, is tools that we've tried out.
Yes.
So
That'd be really useful.
But my number 4, speaking of tools, is John Assaraf. He's also popular in The Secret, but he wrote a book after The Secret called The Answer. And he started explaining more about the subconscious. And he kind of brought me, when Bob finally gave me the explanation of what the subconscious is, it was because I built up this mental image of the subconscious, and then Bob put it on a piece of paper that I could totally use. But John Assaraf really did a very good job of explaining how to get into the subconscious. And it's different. It's the same idea as Napoleon Hill, but a different approach. And the thing that I like about John Assaraf is that he uses what's called inner size. And just like with the dream building, I practice stepping into that future every day. With the inner size, I practice telling myself certain things that about myself every day. And I practice them in a subconscious way, and I just, it feels really good to hear those supportive comments, supportive ideas coming into my mind.
It just makes me realize it's really difficult to see what the mind is. We don't know what the mind is, actually. Often we think of a brain, but it's not the brain. That's just, yeah, what we think it is, but it's not. It's something so much bigger. Yeah. Thank you for sharing that with me and
Mhm.
everyone. Sometimes I forget. And right now,
So number
number
5.
5. And well, I'm gonna say, as I couldn't choose, I love Dolores Cannon a lot. Yeah, sometimes, you know, it's really, really, she helps looking at the bigger picture. She's a hypnotherapist originally, then she got in touch with, of course, the concept of past lives, reincarnation, things like that, and then she got even higher or deeper depending on how you look at it. So yes, Dolores Cannon, and her books, really interesting to get a bigger picture. You have to vibe with it or not. And maybe we can do a future event or a future live on reincarnation. I think it could be really interesting too. Because this is
Oh,
something
yeah.
we don't talk about it. And anyway, but I wasn't really planning on putting her on that number 5 rank, because I want to say, but of course she could be it. But I was about to say the other mentors are like people in my life, and you are part of it, of them. And because what we learn is what people around us teach us most, you know. And it's thanks to the people around us. I mean, the partners we live with, the friends we have, the students we have, our coaches, and yeah.
I think we need to have a
Wait, I
number
cannot hear you
6.
anymore.
Uh-oh, I'm still here.
Sorry. My gosh, what's happening?
Uh-oh.
Yes, I'm good again. Okay, you can repeat.
So I think we need to have a number 6 category where we just list off all of those other influences that we appreciate. Does that sound okay?
It sounds okay.
Limiting it to 5 has just, it's a challenge.
It's true. So do you have a 5th person or not?
So I do. It's a toss-up though, because right now I'm in a class with Debra Poneman. She teaches Yes to Success. And one of the things that she taught me, which was somebody else's program altogether, was 9 days, for 9 days, 27/9, that's what it was, 27/9. For 9 days, I have to throw out 27 items that I no longer use. Oh my goodness.
I remember.
Yeah, you watched me go through that. And that changed my life because I didn't realize how much my stuff owns me. And you can see I really like books, and so I've accumulated a lot of them. But there's also a crushing guilt of, I have them, but I'm not reading them.
I know that.
And I've got another bookshelf electronically that is pretty impressive as well, which is frightening at the same time. And so I had to work with that and just let go of things. And that changed my life. To learn to let go of things changed my life in a very positive way. Now, the tie is with Peggy McColl, who was brought to me by Bob Proctor. And she's just a fabulous teacher, but she teaches also about mindset. And she is the one who taught me about the Power Life script, which is a verbal vision board So John Assaraf teaches about the vision board, and Peggy McColl teaches about the verbal vision board or the Power Life script. And I resonated so much with that. So that's why I had a hard time on number 5.
Yes, I guess we could go on for hours.
Oh, yeah. Well, number 6 is filling up the rest of my notebook page.
I didn't even start. I have so many that came and but I want to add on what you just said. Well, of course, Bob Proctor also talks about that. The fact that your stuff owns you most of the time. And just when you look at your closet, how the clothes you have, I got rid of a lot of them recently, and you just don't realize. And it's true, you only like wear like 20%, 30%, and then you start also. I look at my books. I've given away so many books recently, and actually there is a law. Nature hates vacuum. So if you want to attract new things into your life, you need to get rid of the old, of what you don't use. And this also goes, I mean, for even for relationships. I'm sorry to say that, but it works in every sphere of your life. So thank you for reminding me of that.
Yeah, no, and you know, you bring up a very good point, because as we go down this journey of personal development, we do tend to lose friends. And sometimes it feels really hard. And knowing that nature abhors a vacuum, it lets you know that there will be new friends that come in to take the place. And honestly, even if your friend is in Alsace, France, if you create the space, she will find you.
Beware. Yes, we don't realize how powerful this is. And it's not I mean, it can be hard, of course, going through such experience. I got a friend who's going through that currently, and well, it's just that sometimes people come into our lives to teach a lesson or to help us go through something. We help them, they help us, and then just maybe we'll see each other again. We don't know. And it's just, or maybe they're busy doing something and we don't realize how busy they are. And it's just life. But though, of course, a lot of emotions.
Well, it is. And so I have a therapist. I go see a counselor quite regularly. And he once said something that changed how I look at those friends. He said, Neil, every fall, leaves fall off the trees. The trees have nurtured a relationship. They have given birth to this relationship. And this relationship has nurtured them until it is no longer time for that relationship to continue. And then the tree lets go. And that also gave me a lot of comfort. And it's the same thing with mentors, because I wrote it down. And I'm gonna step forward a little bit, but Darren Hardy, Tony Robbins, Abraham Hicks, Garrett White, Bradley Nelson, Peggy McColl, Murray Morrissey, Jed Adamson, my local naturopath. He reads completely different books than I do, and he's amazing. Angela Duckworth, Stephen Covey, Shelley Lefkoe, Napoleon Hill, Wallace Wattles, James Allen, you name it. Oh, and Neville Goddard and Joseph Murphy are amazing. Jim Quick, Jeffrey Allen, Vishen Lakhiani. But they've all come in, and Louise Hay. Oh, and here's my new favorite, latest, Mindy Pels. Fast like a girl.
Yes.
I learned more about fasting because she was teaching about fasting like a girl. But she's amazing. And they all come to me exactly when I need them to. Neil Donald Walsh.
This one is also good. And I think the movie is also it's Conversation with God, no? Neville God. No.
The movie, the book, the workbook, probably.
Yes, everything. Yes, I love it. But you've named practically everything. I don't know all the names you just quoted, but most of them I know. And I don't know who I would add. There are French mentors, of course. In here, we know David
Hey.
yeah. David Laroche. I love a lot of his work. And I love also a YouTube channel that is Tistria in French. And it's a lot about, yes, personal development, spirituality, things like that, energy. And well, I haven't written down the list because I think a lot and then it just comes out, you know. And so I don't have my list of names, but maybe I will add a few more names in the description, I guess.
And here's one of the beautiful things about YouTube is that if you're watching us, then Dolores Cannon may show up, or Joseph Murphy, or Neville Goddard, or Elmer Loker, or you name it. Whoever shows up next, Abraham Hicks. Not only that, contact us, ask us what we recently watched, because you introduced me to Cryon, who's another channeler. I listened to 15 minutes of him and it changed my outlook on life. And another one was Bashar. Very, very interesting. Never heard of him. Based on my religious background, I would never have listened to channelers previously. And
no, I'm just smiling because Bashar is showing up in my feed those past weeks, you know, and I had never heard of him. So yes. And like you said, Cryon really reminds me of Dolores Cannon, because I think it's quite the same thing. And yeah, really powerful. So this is more, we can say there are some mentors that are more like spiritual guides, and others are really mentors in terms of owning the power of the mind, even if both are working, I mean, for the same purpose. I mean, it's connected, you know, science, religion, everything goes together in the end, and we're quite rediscovering this. And yes, but I had forgotten Cryon. There was a time I would only listen to Cryon, and it would help me, you know, just going to sleep. And yeah, he's really powerful, I think.
Yeah, but see, that's the beauty of it. He's a mentor who came into your life exactly when you needed him. Yeah. He was there until you no longer needed him. And now I've just reminded you of him, or YouTube will remind you of him. And all of a sudden, he'll tell you something that you need to know. He'll move you along your path. And that's what I love about this work.
The funny thing is exactly the same thing is happening in your world. Just before we went live, you told me, I love cleaning the garden yesterday. I spend my afternoon cleaning. I don't know why, you know, but I guess it's the work we do, and like we're connected. And I guess also the people just Mindy Phelps, I'm not sure I'm pronouncing it correctly. You started talking about fasting. I had started, let's say about a year ago, about talking about fasting, but I didn't really talk about fasting with you. But recently I fasted again, and you just mentioned, okay, I'm gonna fast, Delphine, and I have fasted, and you see everything just lines up at the right time, and boom, just like that.
Yeah, Yeah, it's so beautiful. There really are synchronicities in the world. And once you start down the path, I believe that the stepping stones are just made. And, you know, I brought up Neil Donald Walsh earlier. One of the things that he said is all it is your soul teaching you what you already know. And you have to believe that other people are saying it, so you give somebody else the thought.
And you see, it's just remind me of, well, Lorie Ladd's life. She said, some people need books, but others don't. But because really, where does knowledge come from? We really have to ask ourselves, where does knowledge come from? And even I think that Albert Einstein talks about that. You know, he was someone who was really inspired, and he had the answers before he could prove what he has proven, you know. And so where does knowledge come from? And so we have our mentors, but we're just being reminded, and like magic, you know. But this is the concept that was, it really took me a long time to, oh yeah, connect dots, you know, and get it.
Yeah. I think that's the other thing that I like about personal development is it reminds you that you're bigger than you are. You're bigger and more powerful than you've been taught to believe. You're not a helpless little schoolgirl. You're not a helpless worker. You're not helpless in anything. You have a power inside of you that is phenomenal, that is outstanding. And all we have to do is remember. And that's what I think these teachers really are doing, is trying to remind us of the power that we have.
Exactly. And this is exactly what Lorie Ladd said today. It's about remembering you're not the character. Lots of spiritual teachers, like, it's like a game, you know, some talk about the Matrix, whatever you want to call it. You're playing a character and you're not the character, and you think you have to heal, you think you have to do all those things when it's in you already. You just have to just be reminded, oh, it's okay, you're okay, and you're not your wounds, you're not your traumas. And yes, just being reminded.
Well, thank you, Delphine. I appreciate you so much.
Thank you. Me too. And I was just looking at the watch. Okay, it's already been 1 hour since we've started. So thank you guys. I don't know who was there, and I hope the sound and the video was okay. I didn't check. I just let it flow. And
one announcement for anybody who's gotten this far into the video. If you have questions or topics that you are curious about, leave us a post, direct message, do whatever you need to do. We're more than willing to. And we've probably either already talked about it or it's something we'd like to learn.
Yes, very, very much interested. So what I'm gonna do, you stay here because I think I have figured out a way of disconnecting without disconnecting my Zoom. So voila, I'm wishing you all a good night, a good day, depending on when you're going to watch this. And we will see you in 2 weeks. And yeah, in LA again, I think. All right. Awesome. Bye-bye.
Bye.
So I guess the live stopped. I'm just going to check.
Yeah, will you also please stop the recording?
Oh yeah.